Thank you for coming. And Elizabeth, thank you for bringing the texts and sharing spirituality and also more hospitality and all kind of our human beings. We need these helps. Today, this is a really special place, so you can see until we enter in this space, I would not expect this much work and this much art and also the energy here. So thank you so much. Being here with me this afternoon, and I guess we all seems interested in spirituality, and I'm sure you all did meditation, yoga, tai chi, qigong, or kind of human tools that we can use for spirituality, for our journey to the next level or purpose of own health, whatever it is. So of course I'm trained in this traditional meditation or contemplative practice and also Buddhist philosophy. So without Buddhist philosophy, in this tradition, meditation itself has a little bit limited. So somehow we always start with kind of philosophy or the understanding of our human life, and what problems we have, and what practice would have. Either a year ago, so we wanted to get rid of our headaches or some anxieties or some small problems or bigger problems. We have such thing that we are dealing with, that since we birth we are going to age or aging, and of course sickness is another thing that may happen, and then death. So these are there, and that is comes with our life, and of course nobody wants that, but it comes with our life, and somehow we try to get rid of these sufferings. Of course, even we don't want to bite by tiny flies, so we avoid that. But somehow, sometimes we cannot avoid. That's in Buddhist way of thinking is that is karma. So karma is sort of what these days people are saying, that comes around, goes around, or goes around, comes around. We think that way, probably in a Buddhist way of introducing karma. In that way, if you did good job or good deed, then that would have a positive result. If we did a negative deed, then that would have a negative result. So that's kind of way of how samsara works. If you are familiar with samsara and Sanskrit term, samsara is sort of a circling or circuit existence, sometimes in English. In Tibetan we call korwan. Korwan is circling around. We probably can go up to heaven, to go down to hell, so that's sort of we don't have control until we control the karma. And this karma not what sort of nature of creator or law, but this is kind of a temporary thing that we created in ourselves. So that's why individuals, we have own karma to deal with. We can see people born in twins, they have a different lifestyle, different type of suffering, different of intelligence, and different even color of their bodies, and also all sort of things. And that's how we Buddhists believe the karma works. Until karma exhausted, suffering would not exhaust it. That's why it's, the practice is a very important part of our life. And the practice, of course, not only meditation, but we sometimes call 6 paramitas: generosity, discipline, or moral ethics, and then we can patience to the meditation or concentration to wisdom and so forth. So these are 6 paramitas, what we call.
GPS signal lost.
And this what we can do, so that is for practice. And usually each one of them are antidote of something. If we have 5 or 6 poisons we call ignorance, anger, jealousy, desire, and so forth. These are the poisons, but each one of them, in order to subside or reduce or diminishing, we need to do practice that what we can do. For example, generosity is antidote for stinginess, and so we can do that practice. And then top of that, what we can do is we call, in a Tibetan tradition is Mahayana tradition, which means great vehicle. Great vehicle means the motivation is greater than maybe other practitioners would do. So motivation means usually what we do is I'm going to practice yoga, I'm going to do Tai Chi, I'm going to do any sort of practice that usually we do for purpose of my body, purpose of my mental health, purpose of my blood pressure or sugar level or whatever we are dealing with. But now expanding a little bit to say, I also want to share this practice, not only what I promote, but also while I'm doing these good things, I wanted to share this spiritually, spread out to the others. Not only I'm doing running on running machines, but also so everyone's running together. So imagining that part opens our inclusive or accepting others. So Buddhist way of thinking is that is a very important component of the practice. It's sometimes they call bodhicitta. Bodhi means awaken, and citta means mind or heart. So your heart is awakening now. And awakening to your motivation goes to for others. If then advanced practitioners could go care more about other than self, so that motivation you can increase and develop in that way. And here, now maybe we all, sort of today, even you are not comfortable with that, but still today we are here as sort of community, so we helping each other to think your imagination. This goes around beyond first go. You can go think about surrounding all the beings, not only human beings, but more animals and whatever we can think about, forms and the formless, maybe spiritual and so forth. And now you are surrounded by millions, billions of beings and connected. So you are the leader to lead these beings to, because the ignorance is the first cause of the suffering. That's why maybe other sentient beings, they don't know what the cause of the suffering. So we think about them, think about you, that you can do, you can know the cause of suffering, and now you can develop or expand or share your positive thoughts that to wish others to wake or to understand and to know. So usually there's traditions that if you have enemies, then people believe most people don't have enemies, but even you think you have enemies, but people sometimes start with enemies. Means you put first your positive thoughts put to enemies, but if you are not that comfortable with, then you can start with your whoever your closest friend or enemy or pet or parents or siblings or significance, whatever you want to start with. So usually we think too much about ourselves. That's why we are stuck with or close our limits. We didn't really expand our thinking or our good motivation or our compassion. So if you expand more, surrounded by all these sentient beings, and now we are in the same situation, of course, in a samsara, and think about you are the leader, so you want to lead the sentient beings to in a good position. Whatever you want to lead in a positive position. And then this is called bodhicitta. Usually bodhicitta has two components, but at least we are doing 4 other things. And if you have Buddhist background or believe in enlightenment or the Buddhahood, then you think and lead these beings to everyone's to Buddhahood or state of Buddhahood. So that is 2 components that you can think to change your motivation. And that is called the mental sort of motivation. You can do that. But then if you are familiar with Tantra or Tantric, probably when you learn yoga, you would have some sort of philosophy behind, or Tai Chi, or Qigong. Everything our body is not just something that, like metal or something, or a piece of something. It's components that build with very sophisticated channels, or we call nandis here in Sanskrit. And the chakras means wills. Wills means mainly means channels that fills with oxygen and so forth. And then there's we call knots, or chakras has knots. Knots means tight. So if until you sort of through practice open that knots, then we have blockages in and in these channels, and that's why it's the oxygen, or in the Chinese way of saying it's qi, Tibetan is long, and Sanskrit's more prana, so that cannot flow well in our body. Is that why we cannot maybe think strictly, or maybe we have some difficulties in our thinking process? Not only that, then we get all body problems, aches, headaches, all kind of illnesses could arise. That's why we do yoga, meditation, Tai Chi, Qigong, all sort of moving this vital energy in our body to nourish our body. So that sort of simple, you would have philosophy in the yoga. Yoga, sometimes we can think about yoga as stretching and so forth. And there's positions and gazings and postures and so forth. But if we think about deeper meaning, then yoga is more, you are really comprehending or apprehending the true reality. That is called yoga in the Tibetan tradition. And in order to do that, then we should have, we can think kind of logically, strictly, and also kind of we can focus on certain subject that not only just a moment, but if we want to focus on some certain objects, then we can focus as long as we want. So there, the meditation comes. The meditation usually we call shamatha and vipassana. Everyone should know, or if you meditate. And sometimes we call mindfulness, but mainly shamatha means calm and peace. First we need to calming down our mind. If our mind is not calm, then we cannot focus. Our mind is agitated, then we cannot think deeply. And once we come down our mind has become peace, but peace is not only the one thing we want to do, but we still want to utilize our mind. So that's why we sometimes focus on breath, or sometimes focus on syllables, or sometimes objects, or deity objects, or visualization. So that is meditation with objects. And then finally, the Buddhist teachings, meditation without objects will arise, because the main purpose of all meditation is coming from we want to find reality. Do you remember yoga is the apprehending or understanding, realizing the reality. So all this, we start with suffering that is caused by ignorance. Ignorance is some sort of delusional thinking or misunderstanding or unaware. Ignorance really means unaware. What we are unaware is we don't really know who we are. So that's the main philosophy. if this is a little bit difficult to accept, maybe if you are not familiar with, because Buddhists often talk about selflessness and emptiness. So these two are really core Buddhist philosophy. And selflessness means individuals think I am. And empty, we look at that individual would have a name in humans, or some pets, but not all, but humans would have a name. And we look at where is that person, then we cannot really pinpoint where is that person. So why we need to find a spot where cannot find ourselves? Because the mistake arises once we think I'm here, so that is the mistake. It's called ignorance. That causes the suffering in the Buddhist teaching. And we look at this selflessness. Once we cannot find self, then it's become selflessness. And then if we look there, then there's no individuals here. We can, if we think about it, there's no self, means there's no others. And everyone's nature become sort of one or selflessness. And the self means the subject who comprehend or apprehend or grasp things. Objects means this pyramid and appearances, and so individuals. So we maybe say, I'm here, you're there. And then there's no self, the subject, then objects also would be disappear. So the object when we never analyze objects are not there. That is called emptiness. So now we sort of thinking then what is happening here is then Buddhist way of introducing is everything like a dream, is illusion. So that teaching the Buddhists introduced in this way to reduce suffering and also could be eliminate the suffering. Until we don't have this understanding, then we may be doing something we think we're doing good for us, but maybe that's not necessarily helpful, because as long as we have a very tight of individuals want to do myself good, means then others less care about others. So that's why it's in humanities we all know the community and the caring other and these loving kindness and compassion are very important component of the fabric of our society and the culture. So that's pretty much what we are sort of I'm introducing here. And then, of course, we have a lot of methods of meditation. How to reduce these dualistic or concretized thinking that's sort of softening through this analysis where I am, where you are, and what this is floor, where is that floor? Yeah? If this is pyramid, then where is it? If there is a pyramid, we can pinpoint. Not only we can look at walls, but if we really ask where is the pyramid. It's really difficult to find that spot. Same thing, if you look at yourself, to say where I am. It's usually people point here, but then we know we still have heads and legs and arms and so forth. These are all compounded, that's why we call it, but it's not, we cannot pinpoint ourselves. And so forth, that is whether it's good news or bad news, but that's how Buddhist traditionally train. And the meditation rises based on that. And then meditation is meditating selflessness. And selflessness and the emptiness. There is many steps to meditate. Early we say we first need to stabilize our mind, then we can focus on something, and then we can sort of utilize or manipulate our mind. In that stage, then we can look at ourselves, where I am. And that is one thing that we can do first, that step of meditation. And just sit and conceptually or analyze, investigate where you are. That's one thing. Sometimes people are afraid to go to that spot because then losing self-identity. But if you don't want to go there, it's fine. That's how Buddhists would do. Is that if you are not comfortable with that, then it's fine. You can do anything else you want to do, compassion, bodhicitta, or any positive reflections that helping others and so forth. So maybe a moment we can look in ourselves to see, and then maybe a few questions about that background philosophy, and then we can go another level of meditation. Just think about it. Usually Buddhists would say 5 skandhas. 5 skandhas means 5 aggregates. Usually goes with body, and then we have feeling or sensations, and then the deeper goes consciousness, and there's a few or 2 others, but mainly body and mind, that we need to think about who you are, kind of asking who I am, where I am, who I am. That's practice. Here you can close your eye, because this is concentrating to thinking and deeply in ourselves. The traditional way of investigating is that it's for mindfulness. First, investigating on our physical body, where I am, and then we can go feeling or sensations, and then we can go deeper our mind, and then we can go deeper even any components that may be self in our system. Or you can go investigate it through your head to toes or toes to head. So you can see if we don't have a foundational shamatha meditation that calms and also can control our own mind. This mind cannot focus on, even if we want to investigate our body or where I am, it's difficult because our thoughts scatter and thinking something else rather than want to think about this particular subject. And this is maybe a little bit difficult for who don't have a background teaching or don't believe in a selflessness. It's a difficult because it's also involved with belief. It's the Buddhist way of introducing this as truth. And in reality, there is no self. In reality, there is no phenomena. So the phenomenon is no appearance. It's difficult to accept, of course, but that's why we are in a samsara. That's the Buddhist way of thinking. So, do you have any questions in this stage? We can discuss later. Did you find self? Or what do you think that is, would be helpful, or maybe not much? Yes.
How do you move through pain if you're feeling physical pain?
Yes.
Looking into yourself, looking into
Yes.
selflessness.
Mm-hmm. So the pain, what we think is, sometimes I got trouble in this subject, but we understand the pain is if we understand is pay less attention on the pain would help the pain. So we intensify or concretize or focus more on pain, then pain intensify. So here, we all know it's maybe immediately not remove the pain, but understanding of everything is sort of dreamlike life, and even the body, our body itself, is not real thing that what we believe. It's reduce the pain. But in get to there is, I already mentioned, it's a little bit difficult because if we don't accept this philosophy, then it would not have that power to reduce. And mainly we are talking about whether we want to say this is real. Of course, this is hurts. If we touch fire, it will burn, and so forth. But still, if we believe this is dreamlike appearance, and that recognition itself, it's reduced pain. And if we want to develop these, not only just understanding, then realizing, and then probably we are merged into this realm of sometimes called reality, and then can go beyond suffering. That's the whole Buddhist teaching. I think that involves belief and practice, so that both are very difficult, because if we don't believe, then this cannot just make believe, and if we don't practice is also involved with belief, so it's a little bit difficult, but that's what would meditators do, and pain and those. And the pain itself is, if we just think terrible, then it sort of become terrible. If pain is part of our life, then maybe it's the way of dealing with pain. It's not, pain is not only kind of universally terrible thing. There is, people can tolerate pain, people can dealing with pain, people cannot tolerate and cannot dealing with pain. Pain is coming from all sides and all shapes and all angles. That's not just physical pain, but also we have humans have all kind of pains. That's why these days we call mental health. So mental health is a big deal, and that's so reducing that is sort of the combination of belief and also then other way of treating. Should we treat? Maybe not start another way, maybe another question, and then we can go next level. Yes.
Well, I know we do that meditation, so I try to see like, okay, let me find myself. So I close my eyes, I feel the body. It's like, okay, where are you? And I heard, I'm right here. Like, okay, but so I get this sense of myself, but I couldn't pinpoint. It was always like right behind me. Like I got behind it, was right behind me. So I kept trying to find it, like trying to put a magnet on another key, slipping away. So I didn't know. I just thought I'd mention it because I thought it was interesting where I got a clear sense of like I-ness, but I couldn't put like my feeling around it. It kept every time I got a feeling, it just slipped out and was like right here, right behind me, every time. I don't know.
Yes, I mean, somehow I think everyone experienced that. At least we agreed that we cannot really find ourselves. I mean, pinpoint where I am is. And that's, if we accept that logic as logic, or that's kind of observation as a truth, then we sort of accepting that there's no I am. If there's no I am, then what we all believe in these individuals is sort of fictional imputation. And then the pain and other anguish and all sufferings, it seems comes from one's grasping self. Once we concretize this I am, then even I have sensations of tips of my fingers, and so these, either we believe scientific way of kind of some sort of neurotransmitters that sending sensations, or just we believe that there is a sort of cognitive, mental kind of pervasiveness in our body to neurons and also channels and so forth. It has, we feel that. So our feeling and our identity and our who we are, what we believe, is maybe fictional. So if we believe that, then we have another avenue to think about. Maybe there's something going on, and that's maybe can, through that channel and meditation, familiarize and stabilize and understand, and then maybe we can reduce our whatever suffering is. We can reduce that physical problem or mental problem or any problem. So that's just one idea. Of course, then Buddhist goal is much more than that. It's just not serving mental and health problem, but more want to achieve enlightenment or beyond sort of samsaric worldly or worldly achievements that we can achieve. Yeah?
When you get deep into your anja and your third eye, and you're kind of traveling through your third eye, a lot of times I'll be moving through my third eye, and then they'll come like a shape, like a head, like a being, like a Buddha, and I feel a presence. That's really beautiful, and I don't. Is that omnipresence? That's because that's not self, right? Is that right?
Yeah, the Buddhists, that is important. They say we have these three stages: understanding, experiencing or experience, and realization. So these three, we need to go through this. So understanding is important, that's what we believe. So we already shared that Buddhist belief that selflessness and emptiness. And now we need to experience through meditations. But the understanding may fall apart or fade away, because understanding is conceptually we construct it by ourselves. And that maybe lasts not that long once, because if you're directly experiencing then you are not relying on the understanding. So what you are saying is more experience. But the experience itself, I often say this, you cannot repeat that again, which means it's not reality. It would, if reality would, we can repeat again and again and again. So experience, they say, it's like mist or cloud. This comes and goes. But we have to have experience. If we don't have experience, means we are not good enough to practice. So experience itself is not the final sort of goal or final realization. So realization is like space or sky, never change. That steps we need to go. But these all, you can see the understand or belief of Buddhist philosophy that suffering is coming from misunderstanding of self and others, and that's why selflessness and emptiness is the basis of the meditation in here. And those steps we can take, and they mainly need to understand that the whole sort of teaching is. Any more thing to add in here?
I'll ask a question.
Yes.
In this modern, say, industrialized world, what would your advice be for the people that are coming into spirituality, like in the concrete, and having to work a job and work for money as the norm? What would be your advice as to shifting, not just in a more spiritual practice, but being able to be closer to spirituality, to open up to the enlightenment and get further?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's earlier I shared with Buddhist philosophy is connectiveness. Connectivity or connectivity?
Connectivity.
Yeah, connectivity is very important. And that's why we need to expand our positive thoughts or motivation. And the Buddhist core practices called bodhicitta, awakening mind. It's not how busy we are or what we eat or what we rely on or what we making money by what type of job. It's what kind of our motivation is or what our understanding of the universe or the phenomena or the surrounding or the environment and person. If we want to, or I cannot say we want to, but we are believer of this Buddhist philosophy, then as we can easily accept that the self is fictionally constructed thing. If we believe that, then we have much more room to expand our thinking, to accept around others. The whole Buddhist enlightenment or achieving some higher goals or spiritual goals is infused with bodhicitta. So somehow, if the practice is, if we cannot have accepting motivation of accepting others or helping others, then the spirituality of Buddhism and also the goal of enlightenment would not achieve. So it's not how long you can practice or how many days you can spend in meditation and retreat, but how much you can change in your understanding, your thought, and through this understanding. Once you believe something, then practice becomes just nourish off that. So as you don't really need to, we don't have the modern days, we don't have luxury to time to spend in the woods and solitary retreat, but we can be very kind of professional practitioner in office rooms and with people. So the main Buddhist practice is more getting along with people, getting along with animals, getting along with the environment, getting along with everything. We need to start from there, then how much we can expand. If we just isolate it and we cannot deal with people, and then it's a little bit difficult. But of course, some person's personality is just not that type of people. But I'm saying generally, the Buddhist practice is not necessarily done in isolation. I'm sure we have more activities, more what we silently walking down. We know talking is one of avenues that disrupt our minds, so we know that, but still we have chance to develop positive thinking and positive action amount in a society. Maybe there's even the modern busy society. So that is one thing, and then the rest of the time maybe I introduce a little bit more another practice. Now we know, we have foundation, we have background, we have understanding of this selflessness and emptiness, what the purpose of that, and then positive thinking, that bodhicitta or loving kindness and compassion. If we have this combination or union of these two, then enlightenment is that we want to achieve, kind of maximize that understanding and that careness. So that's called enlightenment. And that we can do conceptually build up, and we can see, analyze ourselves. We all agreed we cannot find, but either we believe there's no self or there is self, but we now know that at least there is not an option. And we all practice spirituality, so we care others' needs. And that is, we can build or generate our loving kindness and compassion. So now we have all components that we understand. Life is like a dream, yet we also care about others. If we do that, then if really we can do that, then I'm sure we can solve many problems. And now, last Monday, we did a very nice session practice, meditation. And there, I think only a few of you are there. I think Claudia and Thomas and, sorry, I forget the name. Jenny and Elizabeth. I think the rest of you were not there. So I made this special environment and special place. I want to share special teaching that I get from my teacher. And this is a core teaching, core meditation of my lineage. So maybe you can use wisely if you can. And the philosophy is the same. Life is like a dream. If in a dream, if you make a lot of enemies, you will have problems. So don't make enemies in this life, if you can. And if you have understanding of life is like illusion, and at the same time, you have emotionally capable of loving others, then your practice would be no problem. If you don't have that, then if you want to take spiritual journey, better to have this kind of tool. If not, even spirituality path is not always smooth. It's sometimes very turns and very rough road may need to take. So prepare that. And here, very simple. So now we can think about what. Now we have no self, yet at least we feel we are capable of knowing something. Our mind is capable of cognizing something. And we know same thing. We cannot find self. At the same time, we cannot find mind either. So mind is even, maybe body we can hold, something we can feel, but mind we cannot do that. So, and the Buddhist teaching, when we die, I'm sure that is not music for many people's ear, but that we need to deal with. And we know body left behind. So then the spirituality comes down to mind, our mind. If we think we have mind, then what that mind would be. In the past, present, and the future, we can think about. We all know yesterday thoughts came to us. It's not today's one, so it means yesterday one's gone and tomorrow one's not yet gone. So what we are dealing with pretty much at the moment thoughts. We can control only that part. We have no control in the past and the future. So even this moment is, if we dissect, is we can dissect to even smaller than millisecond. So what we think we have mind is not what mind is. Really, there is no mind. But of course, we can cognize. That's called luminous or nature of mind. And the nature of mind itself nature means beyond fabrication, ignorance, and illusion, delusion, and confusion, and unaware. Nature means unfabricated. So our mind nature is unfabricated. That's why it's nature. Nature has no delusion. So now we have method to look at our mind. That's my tradition. If you look at our mind, means looking at our mind nature there. Now nature is sort of looking at nature, so there's no true subject-object duality, but right there, it's as soon as you look inwardly, it's there. And dualistic concept or delusional concept or ignorant, unaware, all this will disappear. There would not have thinking of self or other, because there's no room for that. And mainly this is, we are really getting in a reality. It's our mind nature. So if you can now sit, if you can sit, well, if not, so you can lie down, or it doesn't matter. It's important here. There's three things we need to do. We know silence is important thing, because verbal agitates our mind, and that silence will stop the speech. And then it's like a broken string of guitar. Guitar doesn't have strings, then doesn't make sound. So our speech is like that. And our body should be like a human corpse in a cemetery, so we're not move yet. But we still have, we are still alive, so somehow we need to breathe, manage to breathe. And the best way of breathing is from mouth. Don't close the mouth, open a little bit, because this air release gently. If you breathe from nose, it's more difficult. And usually you can open eye, because we are still in these rounds. We cannot just walk what we see, but we try to learn not chasing the appearances, or not follow the appearances, or not engaging appearances. If you can do that, then sit. If you can, your back bones should be straight. But if you cannot, it's fine. And look inwardly, your mind. Up until now, we are looking outwardly. But now we need to look inwardly. Yeah? Once we look inwardly, we also need to not mentally focus on inwardly, but also physically try to draw our attention or our vision in. So 2 eyes should try to look at your back of your head. So maybe that's sometimes people don't understand whether my English or the concept. Maybe Elizabeth, you can say something.
We all tried on Monday, right? The ones that were there, and we discovered it's kind of a physical sensation. You know, that focusing, we're looking open through our eyes, but telling our attention to turn inward, like we're gazing at the back of our head. So it's instruction, but then it's also like something physiological as well. Both things. Where to place the attention, but then also something with our gaze. The way it feels is also affected.
And don't try to think, I want to see something. That is idea or concept. Concept only makes more thoughts, that proliferate thoughts. Just Just relax and no expectation, and just tension turn inwardly, and also physical control. This repetition is very important because we didn't, or we haven't trained in this way. We programmed with this subject-object duality and kind of automatically conceptualizing things. So now we are breaking that rule to reprogram ourselves. So it's a little bit difficult. We cannot just want to maintain. And so repetition is very, very important. As soon as your thoughts rise, just look back. As soon as thought got up, look back. So this is our nature, and this is called cutting through, means cutting through our concept. Concept is samsara, and the concept is what we have so far, but now we have this method to look at our nature, and this should release your tension and intensity and anxiety and all sort of psychophysical problems. Maybe we don't have that, but if we think we have, then it should help us. And this moment, if you see forms, appearance, color, shapes, and so forth, hearing any sound or smell or feeling tactiles, if you don't engage that, it liberates itself. Liberate means that doesn't bother your thoughts. So it's very important to do not analyze anything, even don't question whether I'm seeing this or not. Remember, open your mouth. If you are comfortable with open eye, maybe by yourself, maybe more comfortable, but if a group, if you are not comfortable with open eye, that's fine. Okay, and I think, of course, it's any meditation or any practice takes time, and we'd have discussion and so forth. So today we have limited time, and maybe if you want to clarify any further, we can do a few questions, and then I think somehow I'm sure you want to go home to practice yourself. Yeah.
If not, Ricardo's set up a wonderful facility here so you can stay asleep if you need to.
Exactly, yeah. And I'm sure you want to go back home to practice all night. Yes, please.
We were supposed to have our eyes open, right, as we were going through this last meditation, right? If we could have our eyes open. It was really disassociative for me. I just felt like this constant wave of like being present and then being nowhere and then being present and then being nowhere as I tried to look back in. Definitely got that physiological concept that you were talking about. I don't know that I've ever meditated in that way. That was really interesting, so thank you.
Yes, I think if we open our eyes, you will become more comfortable, and then you don't need to afraid to shut down to something appear to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you can, sooner or later we need to deal with what appears to us. Once we ignore or disengage with appearances, then later we will more resilient or naturally sort of disengage or follow what appears to us. So open eye, it helps in that way.
And when the eyes dry out, just let them blink, or how's the approach with the blinking, or if the eyes dry out when you're still?
Usually in the traditional there is another level. The next step would practice about the vision. And that takes time, and that teaching. So without this foundation, the next step is difficult. But this particular, the cutting through practice is blinking is fine, it's okay, it's natural. But next level, usually traditionally trained that sometimes put kind of color thread to your eyelash level, and you need to open eye without blinking for a while to train without blinking.
Just wait, just kind of water on its own. Keep moist.
Yeah, and also there's the gazing to the lights and darkness, dark retreat, they call dark retreat, and also light retreat with moonlight or lamplight or sunlight and so forth. I mean, if it really become dry and cannot stand, that's not good because it should be everything kind of nature. But blinking too much is kind of agitating mind or some vision. So that's the method. It's not saying you cannot blink, but it's, there's training process.
For over time, and for not to blink.
Yeah.
Right.
For me personally, the saying "cutting through" really helped. Saying when you both said that, cutting through, it resonated, when I was practicing it.
Yeah, and so this particular practice, if you look, it cuts the thought or concept. It stops. Maybe individuals would have different. If you are beginners, maybe have just millisecond. Maybe you even maybe barely notice, but it's there. And we can extend, or we can make longer duration through repetition. And then that stabilizes and understanding, and because we are so busy to responding things, whatever comes to us, either smell, taste, sound, vision, or anything, we respond. We see flying flies, we just, oh, there is something. And so we cannot stop that just normally. But these particular practice would disconnect, cutting through that, what we are talking about. And that's what I can share today, and hope if this is helpful, then
do you have any like short poems or sayings that people that have mastered this, is there anything to share just that describe, maybe not describe the right word, but just, I don't know, I'm just wondering if there's like something short from the lineage masters that kind of talks about what this kind of realization is, or like when you really realize this cutting through. Something Guru Rinpoche said, or something Mipam Rinpoche said, or anything that comes to mind.
Yeah, the cutting through itself is more teacher to student, is more oral tradition. The text behind the philosophy and everything is based on earlier what I share. The mind nature, and mind nature is empty and yet luminous. And seeing mind nature by mind nature is seeing reality and so forth. Those are there. If I try to quote particular quotations that comes to here, it's a little bit difficult. It's a more oral tradition to give these teachings.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And there is one, if you are in this zone or this state or this particular Trechod practice, and they call it, and everything is liberated itself. That's another way of introducing. The appearances liberated itself. It's like they say a bird snatched by hawk. There is no time to react. We should have that. These appearances just liberated itself like a bird snatched by a hawk. Have you seen? Mm-hmm. It's cruel, but it's just how Tibetans see nature in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then your mind is liberated itself. It's like the mist kind of swept out by wind, so that it would not, mist or clouds disappear without any trace. So these kind of, it's talking about the liberation. Usually liberations, we think that mind liberates into something else, but it's not. It's liberated itself. It means we don't need to worry about appearances. if I realize everything, what these appearances would, where that these appearances would go, it's nowhere to go. It's just liberate itself. So that's another concept. So we could learn, and then there's many books now in English. So maybe you can introduce some books that may be more whatever you think is good. If you are familiar with this particular tradition, is sometimes kept secret, so maybe you don't know what these teachings are. But general Buddhist teachings, you can see bodhicitta and emptiness, and these books are allowed in English. But these particular teachings, sometimes you need to know through some friends or some teacher or some I don't know,
someone
close
like
friend.
you.
Yeah.
Someone like you.
Is samadhi, is that liberation?
Samadhi means meditation.
Meditation.
Yeah, samadhi is meditation. We know. So first we conceptually understand the meaning, what it is, and then we need to, in order to realize that, we need to cultivate through samadhi or meditation. Yeah. Samadhi is
Union, is it union?
That's yoga.
That's union.
Union is
It's not
the Buddhists. We have these three things. View, meditation, and conduct. But what we can do. First, view means we can understand and believe in something through this maybe logical reason and whatever we think. And then once we have to understand is, earlier I talked about, is not stable. It's like a cloud, will disappear. And then we need experience through meditation. But that's still, the experience itself is not, we cannot repeat experience. Now we need to develop until the realization. Realization means sort of we are become reality. So these cutting through meditation, now we know there's no we, yeah? There's no we, but we sort of our mind or wisdom has this ability to recognize its nature. So that part is now natural sort of realizing nature. Is then it will collapse what we build in samsara, which is friends, families, a nation, and so forth, and then so that's what we ever built up, and it's caused something. It will have opposite force here. That we want to become a state of equanimity, so equalness is, until we become equal, we would have unbalanced force, and that's. But whether we like or not, it would cause some power, and that what we why we are practicing in that way.
Does it go in order, like your experiences and then your understanding and then the realization?
Understanding,
then experience.
realization. Yes. So until we realize something, we are either thinking or we are trying to do something. Once we fully realize, then we are become that part. It's not outside. Once you believe, then it's easy to accept. So it seems battery is almost. Is that okay?
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We're so lucky.
Usually we do dedication because the motivation we already start with talking, and then the main part is usually goes with these non-conceptual or the energy nature, and that we already done. So now dedication means whatever we do here or beyond, or even we dedicate whatever we have been done or have been doing in our whole life, or beyond that, whatever positive things in this world or beyond, we can dedicate to all beings and all environment and everything. Thank you so much for spending time with me, especially this very wonderful special place. We are almost enlightened here, yeah?
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you, Khenpo Yeshi, for coming and visiting us. We appreciate visited Del Sol on Monday and Samadhi
Yeah.
Retreat, Pyramid here, and then thank you, Elizabeth, for bringing us to us, and Ricardo, thank you for building the pyramid and being the far too. And all of you guys for coming and taking time out of your busy lives to take time for yourself and to feel the blessings of meditating together.
Yeah.
It's beautiful way there, right?
Yes, be careful.
Use your flashlights on the back.
The air feels really good.
I don't know how to hear, but it feels good.